And we have to take the lessons of the last 13 years. What happened in Afghanistan? We have been using force. And what is the situation of Afghanistan? Afghanistan is in the middle of a civil war. The same happened in Iraq. The answer, or can we react in another more appropriate or better way?
You say
the solution today has to be found as in the political spectrum. The solution must be diplomatic. And during the Cold War and after the Cold War, we've been facing deadlock situation as the one in Syria before. And we found options that were better than force. Intervene militarily in Syria for US domestic reason, for the sake of Barack Obama. Should we go there because we believe that we should plan? Are we talking about Iran, US domestic policy, or the people of Syria? The only question we should raise
What are you saying?
We believe that we should respect international law and international convention. There is a protocol of 1925, there is a convention of 1993. We should do respect this convention, but we cannot separate the use of chemical weapons to the situation of Syria, which the country, Syria, from the regional situation. Today, we are on the verge of a sectarian war among the Islamic countries. We are on the verge of a war between Sunnis and Shias. You cannot treat one aspect of the conflict and forget about the rest. We must be responsible. What if we are going to intervene militarily and the situation gets worse? What if this is going to be an encouragement for intervention because it's too easy and it's a blind solution? We are going to play in such dangerous situation, scratch a match, and look what's going to happen.
Well, I'll come back.
Two reasons, two principal reasons. The first one is because nobody's sure that this decision might be a good solution to protect the Syrian people.
But the point about military action is somebody has to show leadership. Somebody has to take the decision.
The second point is, are the interests of the US, are the interests of Europe, are the interests of France at stake in such a situation? I'm not sure.
Well, you said
I never considered the use of force without.
But you know better than I.
Well, that's why I think the best option is realpolitik. Is exactly when we were facing such situation during the Cold War, to try to have a real dialogue with Russia, with China and the other country, and try to find a common solution. I believe it's better to have a solution which is going to be a solution by consensus than to decide unilaterally the use of force and then see what happened.
Is there not a sort of French bluster? The realities of this situation are quite clear. Russia is lined up as a loyal supporter and friend of Bashar al-Assad. It now seems, according to West, Assad used chemical weapons. Obama calls it a red line. Russia is not going to come on side, so the West ultimately faces a choice. Either you make good on what you've said about red lines and international law, or you do not. It's as simple as that.
No, it's not as simple as that. First, to put a red line in international relations, it's always something dangerous. I don't think putting red lines is the best way to deal with international issues. Second, the question is not whether we should strike or not strike, whether this is good for the Syrian population. This is the question. And
shelling. They should watch those warplanes dropping their bombs on civilians. Maybe you should think about that.
Oh, I can think about that, but we have seen that in the past. I do remember the launching by the US planes of napalm bomb in Vietnam. I do remember the bombing by the US in Iraq. Around 700,000 people, up to 700,000 people to 1.4 million people died in the Iraqi war. You should remember that also. So we should not compare situation, the best or the less worse solution today for Syria.
And a final point, maybe the worst solution could see jihadis, Al-Qaeda, becoming increasingly dominant inside Syria. And the head of the Free Syrian Army says, unless you support us now, intervene on our behalf and send us serious military supplies, you are handing the field ultimately to Al-Qaeda and the jihadis.
What we have seen in the last months is radicals, Islamist radicals being stronger and stronger in Syria. and maybe it's too late for that. Today, helping blindly the opposition might only reinforce the more radicals.
Or maybe
what we see of the evolution of the whole Middle East, see the evolution in Egypt, see the evolution in Libya and all the different countries, there is a radicalization of all these movements. So I think today striking might reinforce these people, might not create a better situation. You see, we are explaining ourselves that there was a possibility of a virtuous circle. And what we have seen in the Middle East is a vicious intervention might make things still worse and create this vicious circle. By the US planes of napalm bomb in Vietnam. I do remember the bombing by the US in Iraq.